Happening today, the New Orleans City Council, they're going to address the utility bill controversy at their regular meeting today. Last year, the council established a special appeals process for customers disputing inaccurate bills, and still complaints about unreliable service continue to pour in. That's why the council is preparing to put out a bid for an outside company to immediately handle all billing disputes. Joining us now to share more about this is New Orleans City Councilman Joe Giarrusso. Good morning to you, good sir.
Good morning.
And this is a bit of a temporary fix right now to get in and see what the big problems are as we work out some other issues.
Right, so Sewage and Water Board has had these problems with their bills, as you pointed out, going through. They're installing smart meters. Those should change the landscape of this. In fact, we're already hearing neighbors saying, it reported to me a water leak. That's great, but we still have the old meters, and those are still causing problems.
Sure, I mean, you've got some people, I mean, you look at some of these bills, and we've done an ample share of reporting here on WWL Louisiana about people having bills $10, $20, $30,000, and then the Sewage and Water Board will say that they come in and do a reassessment, but they still owe a couple $1,000s. How do you account for that?
Well, that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing today. So we have an outside contractor right now who's been on the very back end of this. We're moving them up earlier in the process. So we want that phone call to be made instead of waiting weeks, months, sometimes even years to fix that $30,000 bill, to get it done in a matter of days.
So ultimately a decision will be made today. If ultimately y'all do decide to go with this, when will we see those changes go into effect?
We want them to start work on September 6th, tomorrow, and then obviously our hope is in the next couple of weeks and by early October we'll start seeing some real changes.
And as far as that is also concerned, we've seen a fair amount of water main breaks here over the past few months. I mean, it seems to have intensified over the past month. What has been some of the conversation in your office from officials from the Sewage and Water Board about a permanent fix here?
Well, look, you have 50% of the water pipes in the city are 80 years or older. We have a lot of old infrastructure. What we keep on saying to them is, what are the oldest, what needs to be triaged, and how do we make sure we're fixing those backwards going forwards.
And we're looking at video right now of flooded streets. Also saw a gentleman clearing out catch basins. I mean, that's another fire point here.
It is, and look, we are really reaching closer a path to do more money to drainage. Sewage and Water Board is going to take that over either at the end of this year.
Money the council allocated to take care of this.
Correct, but we're going to allocate even more.
Okay.
We're going to do it on an annual basis. We're going to take money that has come from the traffic cameras. There's also money that came from Fair Share, pair those together, and then really work on cleaning those catch basins out in a more regular order instead of just sporadically.
And that will be something that the Sewage and Water Board takes over, right, coming from the Department of Public Works?
They will. It will take off Public Works plate and then put into Sewage and Water Board's portfolio.
Do we know officially when that's going to happen?
We're looking at the end of this year or beginning of next year. Peyton just showed that whole graph of all the things going on. Don't want to do that during hurricane season.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
That's number one. So let's wait. Let's get outside of hurricane season, take a deep breath, and make sure there's a clean handoff afterwards.
Yeah, most certainly. And there is a busy day today at City Council. A lot to talk about with the Sewage and Water Board, of course. But, you know, we're also making news, or at least, you know, one of our big guys here, our lead anchor, Eric Paulson.
You know, Eric roasts all of us publicly all the time, so we think we're going to return the favor in just a little while. Look forward to seeing you in Chambers, Eric.
Well, you know, I mean, it's a big deal. He wore socks for today, so you better be ready.
That is unusual. I see he has his jeans on, though, so some things still don't change.
But the other difference,
they're clean.
Exactly, that's the other thing. He goes, but they're clean, so we're good to go. And he goes, but like, look at my shoes. They're decent. The socks, I look all right. I was like, yeah, you know, he looks fine. But again, I mean, all jokes aside, talk about someone who's dedicated his life to this community.
Eric has been here for as long as I can remember, and I certainly remember watching him on television, watching his career grow, and really we want to make sure for somebody who's served this city for such a long time that we give him a proper thank you for all of his work.
That is very true, and as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I saw him wear jeans in like 1990 on the news too, so it's not really new.
He's been a trendsetter.
Right.
He's been a fashion trendsetter.
We call that a fashion plate.
That's right.
All right, good sir. Thank you so much for being here and filling us in on everything with the Sewage and Water Board and whatnot. That meeting does get started at 10, and of course, we'll bring you every single development that goes on, both with the Sewage and Water Board and Eric's big acknowledgement. That's coming up in later editions of our newscast.